Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello and welcome to Teach Me Tech. I'm your host, Laurel Gray, and I'm joined again by the fabulous Ben Carter. Say hi, Ben.
Hi, Laurel.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
And Ben is the CEO, founder of Unet. No, not Unet. Oh, I keep saying that. YoNet.
You call it what you will, girl.
It's Y-O-O. It looks like you, but it's Yo. YoNet. And he really specializes in local search, web development for mostly brick and mortar businesses,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So he's got that whole side of him. And then you also run your whole business using outsourcing.
That's correct, yes.
And that's essentially why we're here, is to talk about how to get started with outsourcing in your business. You and I always have great conversations because we're quite, shall we say, anal retentive about our processes.
Yeah, I've been called those things. Yeah.
You know, so we wanted to have you here so that you could talk about the technology required behind outsourcing. And I'm going on and on. We probably should get started, right? Because there's a lot to cover.
A lot to cover. Like, if I could have met the old Ben, it would have been great. If I could meet me before I started, that would have been fantastic. Saved me a lot of heartache, yeah.
How long ago was it that you started this whole process?
Look, roughly about 8-9 years ago.
Okay.
In a very, very small way, and it's built up quite quickly over time. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I really hope that you can share some of that story and that journey with us today.
Yeah, I hope we've got time. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so here's what Ben is going to cover with us today. First thing, technology first. And we always say technology first here on Teach Me Tech. Come on. Why the Philippines? City versus province. Get organized first. He's going to talk about probably some technology tools behind that. Automating the small stuff. Understanding your team. Communication is essential. And finally, hiring and keeping great staff. So look, there's a lot to cover. I know it probably seems like, oh, where's the technology stuff come in all the way throughout? And normally with Teach Me Tech, what we do on the episode is we actually do a demonstration of a specific tool. But instead, you're going to be sharing a couple of different tools. And this is more of a high-level strategy episode, right?
Yeah, breaking convention a little bit today.
Yeah,
there's a lot
that's
to
right.
do. Yeah, bear with us. Yeah.
And this is something I don't really know much about. I've attempted to outsource a bit in my business unsuccessfully in the past. I'll be really honest about that.
We've all been there.
So I'm really looking forward to this.
Great. I guess, covering off with the topic, technology first, and if we look at how outsourcing is, become such a huge growth now, essentially cloud computing. So it used to be the domain of big companies who had the ability to have servers in different countries that were the first adopters. But ultimately now you can have a small business, tree lopper, any kind of business, their data can be shared and accessed by somebody in exactly the same time somewhere else in the world. And that's that's why technology is so crucial. So we both drink from the Google Apps for Work cup. And
we've had the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And we liked it.
It went all right. So basically, it's for me 101. If you've got to do Office 365, that's fine, and there's a lot of merit to that product. We're Google Apps promoters. It's about getting your file structure, your calendars, your emails, and all those things first online. And what Google Apps does better than other programs that are in the cloud is they have their API integrations, which will come into play later on. So API is basically an open backdoor to a software where things that happen can trigger other things, which is a big part of making this whole thing work and be seamless for your business.
Yep. And I'm just going to interject there. There's a whole series. If you look on BRiN, have a look for Peter Moriarty's series on Google Made Easy. And he actually walks you through all of that.
Total legend.
How to get everything set up. So that's great.
He absolutely rocks. Absolutely. The other thing which, obviously you're going to be communicating with each other. So the traditional methods of Skype and Slack is becoming more popular. Just a little bit of a tip there, which is sort of something I wish I learned later, is actually when you engage a new person, you set up their chat for them. So don't let them bring their own Skype account. Not because they're a bad person, it's just that there's distractions. If they've been online and working for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they've got all those connections still online. And what's going to happen, there's going to be someone, just pop up out of nowhere. Hey, I need a new website. And Filipinos in a lot of cases need income. So you'll find they won't drop your work, but they'll do it overnight time. And ultimately, you need that focus from a virtual assistant to get a good outcome. So it's a real little hack, but it's a really important one.
So you're saying set up all of your systems and make it proprietary for your business.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're going to do Skype accounts, you provide it to them, the username and password. Don't let them just chat to you with the one that you met them on.
Yep.
It's
Or
not
Google Hangouts only.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The other one would be if you're thinking about technology, back in the early days, I was absolutely shocked to find out that one of my VAs was working off must have been a 7-inch netbook. And I'll still never forget that day. And it was very quickly that I bought.
7-inch.
Yeah, I know,
like
right? I don't
super tiny.
I can't even. So basically, be prepared to invest the money in computers for them.
So that they're comfortable.
They're comfortable. There's reliability there, and you know that the work's being done in an effective way. I mean,
Rather than like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not nice for anyone. And I just think that if you can either go with Mac or Ubuntu, I know Ubuntu is probably off the radar for a lot of people, but Ubuntu can be a great option if all of your work is browser based. And also too, we're seeing the rise of Chromebooks as well.
Yeah.
But whatever it's going to be, look, they're not going to be very diligent with security software and some of those things. So I just think Mac, Ubuntu, or Chromebook is a more stable platform. If you can do it.
That's a really good point.
If you can do it, if you can get all of your business in the cloud, browser based, you can do this stuff, and it makes a huge difference. So over the years, I've invested a lot of money in Macs, and we're doing Ubuntu now just simply because we're growing at a rate that we, Macs become a little bit unsustainable, unfortunately. But
So that's great.
Yeah, it's
Very
just
good
it's a little bit of a So another one with technology is they may come to you with a 2 megabyte per second connection.
Okay.
That's pretty standard.
In plain English?
Oh,
is that fast?
No, it's really slow. Yeah, it's pretty slow by Australian standards. So you want to invest for them in a 4G Wi-Fi. That will mean that when the internet goes down, and it will go down, that you've got some sort of backup and they will remain online longer, and expect to pay $100 Australian for the device and about $20 a month to keep that going. So you can see that there's a few investments you need to make to set a good foundation. Obviously, after they've proven themselves as a overall great, person for the business, you're not just going to say, "Hi, here's a computer and all this stuff." You want to vet them a little bit first, but that's kind of what you've got to be prepared for. Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you mind if I ask just a quick question? So obviously, you're saying to make that investment, not necessarily right up front, but around Google Apps especially, people often ask, "Oh, well, I'm just testing my outsourcing. Can I just get VA1 at mybusinessname.com? Is that okay?"
Yeah.
And I mean, with any staff that I have, they always get their name at thebusinessname.com or .com.au, because it's just a matter of culture and making that person feel like they're part of the organization.
Absolutely.
What's your answer to that with virtual outsourcing?
Well, you were exactly the same way. I think all success in business comes from relationships and respect. And I think they deserve a $5 email with their name on it. It's not a big deal. So absolutely give them their own email address. Let them put a photo. We even give email signatures with our own little thing. And those email signatures in some cases will never hit our customers, but it feels like they're a part of the team and they feel like they're, a fully fledged member. So
yeah. And I think that's what you're saying, really, especially in making the investment in hardware, is you are a part of the team.
Yeah.
And maybe can you talk a little bit about what the psychological impact of that has been in your own business?
I guess I've always been a person who values others. I'm not sort of someone who sees, I'm respectful to a waiter as I would be to anyone. It's so, it's not difficult for me, but I do see a common thread with people that sort of see, workers as subordinates or minions or worker bees. They don't succeed in outsourcing, and maybe they shouldn't. I don't think they should. Just treat people like you expect to be treated. And these are people that are already, there's, in the early stages of outsourcing, there's not a lot of security for them. Freelancing in the Philippines is essentially illegal for them. There's no tax, it's an under the rug kind of industry. So there's no stability. They have been burnt. You can assume they have been burnt before, and they're kind of waiting for you to burn them as well. And just prove them wrong, pay them a little bit early. Pay them on time, treat them like gold, and you will just be shouting gifts. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. What else do you have to share with us in terms of technology first?
Technology, well, I guess power is a big part of power and of technology. And if you're going to be dealing with what most small business owners are going to be doing, which is setting up someone from home, that's the normal. entry-level VAs. It's going to be someone that's applied an online site, which we'll look at, and they're going to be working out of their kitchen. And they're not going to have an office at their home. They're going to be living amongst their family with this stuff. So expect all the frubles that go with that. Expect the internet to drop out. Expect the power to drop out. But I'll just give you one tip there. Find the local community Facebook. Most of them update for expected power outages. In storm season, we're in the middle of that at the moment. Expect there to be outages with power. And make sure that you show them that you're expecting it as well. So what happens for me is there can be scheduled power outages in the town. We have a generator, so that's fine. But before that, we would actually, I would make sure I let them know, next week you're going to be offline. Could you all just sit together as a group and let's map out some processes in paper? It shows them that you're actually connected with their lifestyle more than just someone who's over here doing their own thing and that's a separate entity. Little top tip, yeah.
Yep, great. That's what we're here for.
Sure.
Anything else?
I think we're going to chew through a lot, so that's probably the top level stuff with technology. Yeah.
All right, so I'm just sort of hearing from you, get your infrastructure set up and in place, both in the cloud and hardware-wise, and really commit to it.
Yeah, all in.
Yep.
It's worth committing to.
Beautiful. Why the Philippines?
Why the Philippines? So it's probably worth, if you're going to do this, just spend half an hour reading the Wikipedia page and understanding the history of the Philippines. It's unique in that it's been occupied by the Spanish for some 300 years, and then it was then occupied by America. So what that's done is it's left a huge cultural stamp on the place. The Spanish left Catholicism, and America left Westernization. And they also embedded in that a tertiary education system. So for a country, I hate the term, but for a third world country, they are completely progressive when it comes to education. When I go there, it's a sea of students in immaculate white uniforms, and they are very, very driven. So that some of the values that come from a Catholic background, the focus on education, and also too, time zone. You're in Australia here. My day starts, I'm always up very early. I'm a bit of a workaholic like yourself, Laurel. They start at 8, which is my 10. I love it because it actually allows me to get my day sort of prepared and if there's anything for them, and I'm always there ready to say good morning to them. Yep. I can always make sure I'm free for that. And then they slip over it to 7 o'clock of a night time that they finish.
Yep.
And when they're on lunch at 2, it's kind of like when I want a siesta anyway, so it works out really well.
Perfect.
So and look, you're not going to meet nicer people. They're just absolutely wonderful to work with once you've earned their loyalty. Yeah.
Anything else that you want to share about that?
In terms of their loyalty, or in terms
just
of
around the Philippines, and did you look anywhere else before when you were having a look? Yeah,
absolutely. Look, I've in the early days, I tried Eastern Europe, I tried India, and not that there was anything wrong with it. Actually, in the early days, there was more wrong with me because I didn't meet this guy that's talking right now and knew some of these things.
Different Ben.
Different Ben, yeah, older and wiser. But basically, the things that I do love about the Philippines is their attention to detail. And when you're running a business like this, it all comes down to systems, which we'll cover. And Filipinos as a culture are very much wonderful at adhering to a process. And that's wonderful. That is so good when you're trying to scale a business because they won't deviate. If you have bad systems, you can create multiples of errors. So you have to get this in order. So, we talked about Google My Business the other day, and we talked about getting it all ready before you go there. I actually think it's the same with outsourcing. Get your stuff right first before you go there.
Yeah, beautiful. And that's so much of what we believe in, and that's why we have Teach Me Tech here, is to help you get really clear as a business owner on what tools are going to work for you and your business.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.